I mean, this is literally in the hundreds.
Yeah, you can't even. You should send them all to Spike. He can read them. Okay,
I love that.
Are we ready for Andrew Rivers?
Yeah. Unless he's had a medical emergency, then we can have no more of that. We're done.
Oh, no, he's fine. See, that's the sound of laughter in a comedy club, and he finally got to experience that again as he traveled to Tulsa, Oklahoma to do a 3-day comedy gig. Before I bring him on, I got to say, Andrew sent me the most amazing. It's not even a meme, technically, because I think for it to be a meme, it has to have text. And it was kind of an inside Star Trek joke, which I'm pleased that he got. It is a picture of a Star Trek away team with Captain Kirk, Officer Spock, and Bones, right? Leonard Nimoy. And the fourth member of the away team, I don't know his name, but he's wearing a red shirt.
Yeah.
So Kirk...
Ensign Expendable.
Yeah, Ensign Expendable. So Kirk, Spock, and Bones are wearing face masks, but Ensign Expendable, no, he's got a red MAGA hat and a red shirt. He's refusing to wear that face mask. If anyone ever watches Star Trek, they know that the guy in the red shirt always dies. The Expendables. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Rivers, a touring comedian who also happens to be my son. He's been all over the country and all over the world doing comedy, but with the coronavirus, travel basically got shut down. And so, as a father, I was mildly concerned when he, announced that he was taking this job in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right after, the 2/3 empty Trump rally. But he did, and I get it. He's a young guy, and, the risk to him is fairly moderate, and he needs to go out and earn a living. So welcome back from your gig in Oklahoma. Andrew, how did it go?
Can you hear me all right? Does that sound good?
Yeah, you sound great.
That's good. No, it was actually Oklahoma City, but
it wasn't Tulsa.
Yeah. I mean, it felt good to be back on stage. I'd say I can die a happy man, but that might feel a little too sad in a few weeks. So,
so it's better not to jinx it. Yes.
Yeah.
Why did you take this gig?
Well, I'm headlining the Tacoma Comedy Club this weekend, and I'm the main event. And I haven't performed since March, and I also perform in Tacoma every couple of months. So I wanted to make sure that I could bring a bunch of new material that they haven't heard, and you have to test the jokes.
So also, if you're going to suck, you
audiences.
might as well suck down south.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they don't,
And by down south, I don't mean Tacoma. For Seattle people, that's the deep south.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm in a phase of my career where I'm trying to build an audience, but, I gained a bunch of new fans, but they're probably all going to be incapacitated in a few weeks.
Come on.
Hey, all right.
And Oklahoma City is a pretty big town. I mean, they've got, for one thing, an NBA basketball team.
Yes, they stole it from us. Yes.
Yeah, the Cowboy Hall of Fame is there. And I'll tell you, Andrew, I don't know if you got there this time, but you really need to go to the Cowboy Hall of Fame next time you're in Oklahoma City. It's one of my favorite museums anywhere.
That sounds like right up my alley.
Oh, I think you'd love it.
Skinny little white boy, he'll do great there.
So, Andrew, you and I have talked a little bit about this, but you are, because you've been home for the coronavirus lockdown for several months, your normal process of writing jokes has been affected and changed. And by the way, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts that involve great comedians talking about their process. And who did I hear just recently? I heard Jerry Seinfeld on with Mark Maron. It was amazing. And another comic, too. I can't remember who it was. But everybody has a different process. But a very common process is to try out material. Oh, yeah, Seinfeld was talking about this. And you could just tweak one word or one phrase or put a descriptor after a word instead of a foreword and take a joke from okay to spectacular. And so I've talked to you and you tweak your material on stage. You can't do that during the coronavirus. You're writing alone in your apartment, right?
Right. I mean, some of the some of the advice I've gotten over the years is to write what you think is funny and then keep what the audience thinks is funny.
Nah.
And so, if there's no audiences, I'm just keeping a boatload of crap,
You get everything you love.
because everything makes me funny, But it's also like it's a really unique opportunity to not perform for 3 months and then test the material
See
that
how you did.
Yeah, especially because I've been performing it online, but you don't really know. Sometimes you're like, did they mute themselves or am I terrible at jokes? So you don't know.
Or are they just Russian bots laughing?
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Further
That's
divide
really funny.
America.
Yeah, a bunch of fake audience members.
Yeah.
But the process is, I mean, especially, it's kind of like I made the joke last time, like flying a flight simulator and then getting behind the actual controls.
Which Colton Harris Moore pulled off really well, if you consider
Yeah.
not dying in your first crash a total success.
Right, that's the issue. Is crashing on the simulator is a lot less problematic.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
But for me, especially after I'm especially trying to work out like a group of jokes. Basically, you start with jokes that work to get the audience on your side, and then you try new stuff in the middle, and then you close with your best stuff. In the industry, we have a term we call shit sandwich, and so that's what we do. And they say like good audiences help you write, and bad audiences help you edit. So
so you put the jokes that make the bread on one side, and the jokes that really bring it home and make the bread on the other side, and then you put the let's call it spam in the middle.
Yeah, spam sandwich, absolutely.
And it's a little bit like a rock band. It's like about in the middle. They go, okay, here's a new one we're going to play for you, and it gives a chance for people
Anybody
to go to the
have to go to the
bathroom.
bathroom?
Yeah,
This
I
is a
mean,
great time. Yeah.
you've got to have a lull in that set for people to refill their drinks and stuff. So I mean,
Absolutely.
it's like anything. If anything is at the same level, at the same volume, and this is one thing I've learned about programming radio. Even great songs, if every song is great, you're overdone. You need a little bit
If
of
it's all
something less in
Deaf metal. If it's all Lamb of God. Dugga, 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 dugga.
there. Right.
You need
You got to mix it up
ballad
a little.
in between.
Well, I would
And
think
especially,
that I would think
Go
your
ahead.
audience would have so much pent up laughter because they probably, just like you haven't told the jokes.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's funny.
it's like I'm watching NASCAR and listening to minor league baseball because I'm desperate for entertainment, and I
sport.
bet
Yeah.
to see live human entertaining
Sure.
is
Yeah.
pretty exciting. for
Live
them.
humans.
I am
Maybe
the.
we'll
I
be
am
like
the.
maybe we'll be like Amsterdam, and they'll be in a window right on the main street. and you can just walk by
Hey,
the
pull
window.
my finger. Hey, big guy, pull my finger. Woo. Yeah.
All right, Andrew. Go
I
ahead.
am the Korean baseball of comedy. I am just there because no one else has a better choice. You know.
So,
But yeah, it's true. And I mean, even like the audience can help. Like sometimes even where you put a pause can cause the audience to either listen or feel the need to interject. So testing it in front of people is important.
All right, so now you go down to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Were you nervous about this, and what was it like flying on an airplane? I have not flown since this thing, and I imagine Spike nor Joe have either.
I was a little anxious for the performance, but I saw that Pauly Shore was performing the weekend before me, so I thought, like, if the virus kills me but not Pauly Shore, that's on my immune system at that point.
Well, your liability's a lot higher, Andrew. You make people laugh, so there's a lot more
that's so
spray.
funny.
I mean,
They spray more when they laugh.
Pauly isn't
Yeah.
going to generate too much spray.
They're all sitting there looking at their phones.
Yeah.
Not a lot of virus in the air.
That's funny. How did Pauly Shore do? Did they tell you?
He sold out. I don't know if the people enjoyed it.
years
but,
ago.
I
Boom,
think-
boom. Hi-yo.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
All right, so
you
you
go.
get there, and now does the club owner pick you up and drive you to the club?
Yeah, well, I mean, my main fear was getting sick immediately. I thought if I got sick, at least if I can get home. I didn't want to be stuck in Oklahoma for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just either financially or mentally.
Yeah.
Seems like a bad idea. But flying was easy because, people are wearing masks and there's no drink cart that bangs into your knee or elbow or whatever. And the airport is less crowded. So
Was
as a
a
person who
flight
flies... No, I mean, I had open seat next to me, but
Perfect.
I was in first class, so that might have been a thing that they just do
My boy.
for
Yeah.
people up. I mean, I fly 40 times a year. I get a little status, but... And also, like, even as usually when you wait for your bags at the carousel, everyone stands around shoulder to shoulder waiting, and you have to fight for a position when you see your bag. And everyone was actually keeping somewhat of a distance, and it's sort of like a social contract that I would like to see everyone fly with masks in the future, because the airport is probably one of the grossest places.
It
that
is.
I go
It's
to
like
often.
kindergarten, worse now. And so you get there, and you told me the owner was bringing you to the club, right? So you got to meet
Yeah.
him, and did he tell you about how sanitized the club was and how they had gone through with all this ET spraying machinery to get all the alien stench out? How do they prepare for you?
Well, this was the second week that they were allowed to have full capacity, so everything was pretty much back to normal. But he picked me up, and he's like an ex-military, and he's a former air marshal, and I've stayed at his house before. Sometimes at the comedy club, instead of putting you up in a hotel, they put you up at like the house or whatever. So I know what channel he prefers, and he knows that I'm a little bit of a libtard, so. I got in
okay.
his car,
Yeah.
and he wasn't wearing a mask, so I took my mask off, and then he made fun of people wearing masks.
You took your
and he goes,
mask off because of peer pressure from a right winger, really?
yeah, I don't know, just
Right
your
winger.
boss,
That's
yeah.
He's paying the freight.
paying my bills.
You don't want to look like a puss-tard.
You
Yeah,
do want to
absolutely.
come back from Oklahoma. I mean,
So he made fun of masks.
Yeah, and
Must have
he
given you a great feeling.
Yeah, well, he immediately. I didn't react really when he made the joke, and then he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I know you are a dumb liberal or whatever," and he didn't say it like that, but and I say, "No, tell me how you feel," and he was joking that, "Oh, back in the military, all the stuff they injected us with in the army probably made us immune to anything at this point,"
Hey.
and so it's probably not the best argument for it, but.
I think having faith in your own immune system is awesome. I think.
Sure.
We were just talking about that with Joe. So anyway, you get to the club, you do your show. It worked out great.
So, well, I got a little Downtown Joe teaser here.
All right.
I had a gun pulled on me. Ooh.
Is that why I took the mask off?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, I landed Wednesday night, and it was still open mic, and I ran to the club, but I already landed, and the show was over. But I met some other comics that were like, "Hey, we're gonna go do another show at a bar real quick. Do you want to come?" Not too enthusiastic about doing a bar show, but again, they're paying me, and it's my job. I can't. I gotta not be Pauly Shore up there. So,
and once again, you're probably just put me in front of people. I am dying.
right,
to
exactly.
Do some comedy. I mean, it's
And plus, the only sets I've done are in Tacoma, where the tables are all 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
So it's still not the best.
That's
but,
like a comedy condom, isn't it? It just removes a lot of the
yeah,
sensation.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy right there.
I always throw these out, and then I tell Andrew he can use them if he wants,
That's
and he
pretty
goes,
funny.
"That's
I
all right.
might-
Thank you very much."
Yeah, I'll write it down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, you got to test it in front of real people and see what they think.
Only because he's in the will, by the way. He doesn't really like the joke.
That's funny. I all right.
I'm kidding.
Have some confidence in your jokes, man. It's all right.
I don't. I
I like
don't do 'em
my
for a
favorite
living
thing
anymore.
on the pod. Yeah, my favorite thing on the podcast is when your joke bombs and then you explain it to everybody, and that's always
try my. I'll promise not to be too funny because I don't want you guys to spray on me. I think you'll get a laugh on that.
Joe, I love
That's
that.
very
Though.
funny.
That's awesome.
so I.
Hold on,
I
just
walk
tell
in-
Joe you'll write
You
it
say,
down.
I saw
It's a
Pauly
really
Shore
good
doing
joke.
this, and it's really kind of
You can have it because I'm not going to
By
be
the
on
way,
any
the
stage.
last time an interview went this bad was when we had Jay Leno on and we tried to write jokes for him. It was great.
I think this is great. We're on
It's
a roll
fine.
here.
We did end up getting Pedro a job eventually. So you get on
You
stage.
get so self-conscious.
Yeah.
Well, so I get into the bar, and I forgot in Oklahoma, you can still smoke cigarettes in bars.
Oh.
So now I'm, and you can see it wafting through the air, and so you can see which people are breathing in which direction, and it kind of made it easier to dodge the coronavirus.
But it also
You
made
see
it
it coming.
easier for the virus to hitchhike on smoke particles,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, I looked up the testing, and it said, Oklahoma was at 7% positive rate, which means 7% of their tests were coming back positive. So, anytime I walk into a bar or whatever, I just assume 7% of these people have it. And so you just got to look for the people with the red hats and assume that's the dangerous one.
Freedom fighters, yeah.
The freedom fighters.
Yeah.
All right.
So I do I only hang out in there for like 15. I treat it kind of like senior prom where I just hang out in the corner and don't talk to any girls. But I do the show and it goes well. And then I wait outside and this big car with big rims and a booming system pulls up to the red light next to me, and the guy rolls his windows rolled down, and we made eye contact, and there's part of this white guilt, I think, where you're like, I'm not scared at all. There's nothing wrong with this. Just a man who wants to show off his stereo system. So I go, yo, man, nice car. And he gives me a peace sign, and the light turns green, and he drives off. And if you thought that's where the gun was coming, you're very racist, and
that wasn't
it's
it.
bad. That wasn't it. So anyway, the punchline is I get to the comedy club the next day, and I see the bartender who used to work at the Tacoma Club. I haven't seen. They offered her a promotion to move to Oklahoma. That's how you get people out there.
Sure.
And she goes,
or a new basketball stadium. One of those two.
Sure,
things.
yeah. She says, can I give you a hug? And I say, of course. And then the security guard goes, wait. And he pulls a gun out and puts it to my forehead and takes my temperature. And then he says, there you go.
A thermometer gun.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't need a waiting period in order to
No
buy
waiting
one of those.
period
Yeah.
to get one of those. No. Bugs Bunny,
did
they can replace that Elmer Fudd's gun with a thermometer.
So before you could hug a waitress, he had to get your temperature with one of those remote temperature sensors.
Yeah, absolutely. So it came
Now,
back
are they-
good. And
Well, that's
Are
how they
they
open the
doing
strip. That's how they open the strip clubs up, right? Every time you go near a stripper with
Yeah,
a one, they
they-
put that gun to your forehead, and if you're good to go, you're go.
actually, they put the thermometer somewhere else for the strippers, but
Did they check the?
all right.
Did they check the audience coming in? Did they check everybody's temperature? That would actually be
I
a really
think
good
so.
policy.
I don't know for sure. I think they do. I mean, I arrived kind of before the audience, so I didn't really see that actually. But I don't know. That's actually an interesting point.
Went well. You were asked on a date after the show. Was that the waitress who moved down from Tacoma?
No, that's funny. No, I think just a gal wrote her name and number on a napkin and handed it to me. And
That happens to comedians, doesn't it?
occasionally, I don't tend to follow up on it because I'm getting off work at midnight and nothing good happens after midnight. So,
Well,
Well,
there are.
just
I
the,
used to. Yeah, well, I used to get laid a little more often after the show, but then I think the third time I got chlamydia, I decided that probably not as fun as you want it to be.
Well, and now
I have a funny
there's
story
whole,
about that one time.
A whole new level of
Oh, go
health
ahead.
worry. I mean, no, I was just going to
Oh,
say. if you-
absolutely.
it used to be dangerous, but now it's uber dangerous to
Yeah.
even be with
Right.
people you know, much less total strangers.
Yeah,
So.
including asymptomatic.
I mean, that's I thought about for sure. I thought about getting on Tinder because of I'm finally at my house for a while and I could meet someone, but I figured they have enough diseases on there as it is, so I joined Farmers Only, and because they're way out in the country, the virus hasn't even got there yet.
yeah, no.
And
That's the way
they
I'm
have a
thinking.
6-month food supply.
Yeah, I'm thinking Middle America is calling our name. I'm envious of you going to Oklahoma. I think that's although it's pretty hot spot there. I want to go a little north of that.
Now, you were in the South. Did you see any toppled Confederate statues while you were there?
No, I didn't run into anything. The Confederate statue thing is interesting to me. I kind of feel for both sides of it because on the one hand, the Confederacy lasted 4 years. That's not really heritage. That's like a phase you went through in college. But on the other hand, I had a girlfriend for 3 months that I still write jokes about 2 years later. So I get it. It's hard to get over stuff, But then
By
you
the
worry,
way,
how far are they going to go with this, right? They're talking about taking down Lincoln, and they're talking about taking down other stuff. And I just found out they took down the statue of Bill Cosby that was in Disneyland a few years ago, and they're erasing our history. All right, that joke doesn't work on stage either, so I don't know. That's why you need to.
Well, I've heard that one a
Because
couple times.
we're all thinking,
Yeah.
there's a Bill Cosby statue
Well,
at Disney?
it
Really?
needs a tag.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what I'm thinking is, you keep saying you've been to the South. Oklahoma is not, by any stretch of the imagination, the South. Oklahoma is the Midwest heading towards West. Bob, there's there's nobody in Oklahoma that fought for the Confederacy. That was that's the
Not
that
the
was
yeah.
Union
Deep
country.
South was on the east back then. That's right. Very very important. All right, sports is coming back. Did you read that Cam Newton was signed to replace Tom Brady for the Patriots? You guys?
Well, I think they're going
yeah.
with their other guy, right?
Oh, did they decide?
Well, I mean, I think that's what they've been saying the whole time is that they have faith in the other guy. But I like Cam Newton. We'll see if he can get healthy enough.
He's
And
there
I don't
in
know
case
if
they
we'll have
need
a season.
a pro, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the roster, and they barely paying the guy. I mean, I was
Minimum.
surprised.
Only
Absolute
$7 million.
minimum. No.
Well,
absolute minimum. Like 800.
800,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
How's he going to get by on that? Plus,
I don't
he
know.
gets a federal stimulus check, I assume. But that's not.
Plus, he gets
stops at the end of
$600
July,
on
right?
top of
Yeah.
that, and that's why Kaepernick hasn't signed with the NFL team. The unemployment
Yes.
is too good of money.
So much better. Yeah, he's got a raise. All right. Well, Andrew,
Hey,
Do you think sports are-
Hold on, but
Yeah.
before sports are gone, did you see what is it the Detroit Tigers are doing, Joe, about the cutouts in the stands?
No, are they going to put some in there?
Well, and I read this last night. They are letting their fans buy life-size cutouts of themselves, and you buy them and they'll put them in a seat in the stadium for a game because they're playing in front of empty stadiums.
I heard this. Yeah.
But for
Right.
the players, it'll look like the stadiums are full. And if a foul ball hits your cutout, they'll mail you the foul ball.
Wow.
Oh, awesome. They do that in Korea. I don't know if they do the foul ball part, but they put the cutouts in. If you think the Tigers have a chance, by the way, 200-1 right now on Detroit. I'm almost thinking about throwing a little on that just because right now, if you are at all a gambler, which I am, I've never seen 200-1 odds. This is a 60-game sprint. This is not a full season. And as of 2 days ago, you could get 200-1 on the Mariners, the Tigers, the Giants, and the Pirates. And I don't know if any of them will win, but 200-1. That's
nuts.
That's a lot of. That's yeah.
If
that's
the Mariners only have to
insanity.
play the first half of a season, our odds are pretty good.
I've got my ticket. I'm can't wait to cash it. This might be the year.
I think I've seen it at like college. They used to do like KY jelly wrestling, but I think maybe we could televise some Purell wrestling, just girls in bikinis wrestling each
Pretty
other.
good.
Absolutely.
People are hard up, man, right now. I'm telling you, anything that you don't know what the result is going to be at the end, be it a comedy set or a minor league baseball game, people want to be entertained and not just movies and things that are pre-recorded. Live entertainment is at a premium right now. And in fact, I'm tempted to come to Tacoma. That's this weekend, the 3rd. Are you going to be there the 4th of July?
Second and third.
2nd and 3rd of July.
Yeah, 7:30 and 10 p.m. on Friday, and then just 7:30 on Thursday.
All right. Andrew Rivers, comedian.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you very much. Comedian is a girl, actually. Comedian. And
Get my pronouns right.
I'm glad you're okay. Call me in 3 to 5 days and let me know how you're feeling after that plane ride.
All
okay?
right. Yeah,
good.
yeah. Maybe skip the show this weekend. Who knows?
Yes, because we're playing in 15 days. Yeah.
All right, guys. Bob, Spike, and Joe, remember, if you get in on the Patreon before next week, you might be part of that special invitation-only Patreon Zoom call we're going to have. And who knows, we might have a special guest. That's going to do it for us. A long one today, folks, over 90 minutes.